Looking at the Markets with David Modell. Hello and welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Modell. You guys and gals know that I'm a fan of resources and I'm a fan of gold right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that the Federal Reserve has pretty much guaranteed that gold is going to just keep going up, and this is the beginning of a super cycle in the resources sector. And speaking of the resources sector, I've got Mr. Rana Vig as a special guest today. He is the CEO and director of Blue Lagoon Resources, available at bluelagoonresources.com. Mr. Rana Vig, welcome to Looking at the Markets, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to tap into your wealth of knowledge. I do want people to click on the link below this video. I've got a very special report you're going to want to see. It is portfoliowealthglobal.com/blue, BLUE. And it is essential reading if you agree with me that gold and resources are going to take a big upswing very soon. So, Mr. Rana Vig, I just want to start talking about the Federal Reserve, which just recently made very serious announcements that have to do with inflation and how they would target it over time. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell has even warned about the dangers of low inflationary expectations over time. Now, gold is already trading near all-time highs. What do you think is next for gold?
Well, look, David, as you commented earlier about gold, I feel that it has nowhere but up to go, right? And there's a number of reasons for that. The Fed keeps talks about this inflation and everything else. And, people aren't stupid, right? It doesn't matter how much they keep lying to us. And I'm sorry, as a news flash, right? Governments lie. They constantly lie, right? And they're trying to fool us all the time. But you know what? When you go to the store and you try to buy something, you just realize, well, how come my money isn't going very far, right? So, so what I'm trying to say is that these are unprecedented times where they are printing money like there's no tomorrow, which is devaluing, currencies even more. So the dollar is worth even less. On top of that, you've got these unprecedented, demonstrations and riots going on, not just in North America, but all over the world. And then on top of that, add on a world pandemic. I mean, who could have guessed and predicted all of this happening at the same time? So all of this destabilization, all of this unrest, chaos is exactly what gold loves, right? And so it's got nowhere but up to go.
Yeah, I agree. The Fed, in a weird way, the Fed is actually being our friend as far as gold investors go, even if they're not meaning to be our friend.
Big time. I totally agree.
Yeah. I mean, look, is the case for gold becoming so apparent? Only 0.5% of the asset universe is invested in gold. What is the bull case for gold right now?
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's what's amazing is that how little of the big money, the institutional money is in gold. And most people don't realize that, right? But look what's changing. You've got Warren Buffett, right? For the first time ever, coming out in favor of gold. I mean, all his life, he hasn't liked gold. He hasn't supported gold. He's said it publicly. I don't like gold. And here he is now, just 3 weeks ago or so, made a big investment into gold. So, all that means is that it's going to become mainstream. We're talking about it, right? Other media is talking about it. The general public is thinking about it. And, they're thinking that, hey, if a guy like Warren Buffett, who is, one of the most successful, if not the successful, financiers ever in the world, is going after and going after gold, maybe I should be, right? So that 0.5% is highly likely to increase, right, by other players coming into the market. And just a small fraction, another 0.5% to 1%, will completely change the picture and very likely double the price of gold.
Yeah, we already have negative real rates in the United States. The average person doesn't even know this, of course. What could happen when an entire generation of baby boomers realize that their cash is basically toxic, and they're all retiring in huge numbers. What's the upshot of all this?
Well, just as I said, I mean, that's exactly what's happening. As I said earlier, I mean, the value of the currency isn't there. Look, it's a simple fact, right? You go to Starbucks and the coffee's like $6, right? And you're like, what, really? You go to a movie, after you buy the popcorn and the chips and the pop is like $80. Like, really? For a movie for, me and my wife and my two kids? I mean, so, the value just isn't there, right, of the dollar any longer. When I was growing up in the 70s, people forget, all these things, right? When I was growing up in the 70s, my dad's a retired civil engineer. In those days, civil engineers used to make about $45,000, right? And a house that we bought, the first house we bought at that time, was around the same, about $45,000. But a same civil engineer today makes about $85,000. But guess what? The house cost, that same house, is over $1 million. So what do you think is happening, right? As people are retiring, the baby boomers, as you're talking about, are retiring, are starting to realize that, look, my dollar isn't going anywhere. The money is getting, the value of it is less and less. I must do something. There's only one way to preserve wealth, that's in hard assets, right? Be it real estate or be it precious metals. So more and more money is going to pour into silver. More and more money is going to pour into gold. In fact, it already is. And that's means, again, only one thing. The price of gold, the price of silver has got to go up.
Yeah. Now, you have major experience, not only over 30 years of business experience, but you're also the founder of Blue Lagoon Resources. Again, people should check it out, bluelagoonresources.com. And if they're interested in the stock on the CSE exchange, it is ticker symbol BLLG. And on the OTC Markets Exchange, BLAGF. But I wanted to tap into your experience, firsthand experience. At Blue Lagoon, you were able to purchase it without spending any cash for about half of what the previous owners had already spent on it, and with only another $1 million to spend on it before it's production ready. How did you pull that off?
Timing and patience and a lot of hard negotiation, right? So, when we started talking, and often as the case in business, you've just got to be at the right place at the right time. And when I started speaking to the private group that owned this property, that was back in October, and gold was trading, at around 1450, and there just wasn't this momentum, right? And there wasn't this excitement that we've got, right now. This is before COVID, right? And so, we just drove a hard bargain. I knew, what my abilities are. I come off of a couple of very big wins. They knew that. They knew I had the ability to execute. They're a very nice family who owned this, but they were age caught up to them. They're like 83 years old now and not in the best of health. So they wanted someone to help realize their dream by getting this property advanced and possibly put the mine into production. So just drove a hard bargain, and I think we got an incredible deal for our shareholders. Paid zero cash, all stock, and a fraction, in my opinion, of what the property's worth.
Yeah, it may be the deal of the decade. I don't know. That's pretty amazing. Now, your project, Blue Lagoon's project, Dome Mountain, has 85,000 ounces of gold mineable under the current life of the mine. But is it true that that's only a fraction of, really a small fraction of the property has ever been explored? There's a lot more, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, some of those numbers we're just currently reviewing right now and recasting some of our forecasts. But it is only a fraction. This property, this company, it was private. And typical of a private company, they are focused. They were focused on getting the mine into production so they could pay out dividends, right? Unfortunately, they were not at the right time, at the right place, because for the last 10 or 12 years, mining hasn't been in favor, gold hasn't been in favor, so they weren't able to advance, the project. But they never explored the rest of the property. Beyond just this mine, we have 15 known high-grade veins, right? We don't have to go find them. We already know where they are. There's lots of historical evidence and data that shows us. Companies like Noranda, were there in the 80s. So there's that, all that opportunity for us to explore. And then there's beyond that, this is a very large property. It's almost 12,000 hectares. and 90% of it has never been explored. So we're busy right now over there, flying airborne surveys and various things to figure out what else we've got and putting the best scientific geophysical techniques and minds to work. And we're very, very confident that we've got a real winner here.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty confident too. Here's an interesting one. We've got the elections coming up. Does gold really care about who wins the elections, or is it a win-win either way? What do you think?
Yeah, great question, David. No, I don't think it cares. I'll tell you why, right? If Trump wins again and the Republicans get back in, I think you continue to see, this kind of destabilization. I think you're going to continue to see the demonstrations, the riots, all this unrest. And gold, of course, loves that. You're going to continue to see, the printing of the money, right? So that's not going away anywhere. If the Democrats win, so what? You got left-leaning now people, right? Socialistic thinking who want to print even more money and pay out even people. So either way, I don't think gold cares. Who wins?
Yeah. I am going to hold my gold either way. Okay, there's no reason to sell it, and my resource stocks as well. If people want to learn more about how to maximize on this, they should go to portfoliowealthglobal.com/blue, BLUE. We'll get that report right out to you. I found it interesting that Blue Lagoon has 4 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold, but the cost of producing gold already includes the silver costs. So it's almost like you're getting that for free. What does that mean in real terms? Because it is a big deal.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because in our business, typically, a lot of us didn't really look at the silver, as any significance because we're focused on the gold, right? But now with silver prices, where they're headed, where they are currently, and where it looks like they're headed, people like Eric Sprott, a thought leader in precious metals is talking about $100 silver, right? 50 plus to $100 silver. So that gets very exciting. Yeah. So we on our property, currently we have. For every 1 ounce of gold, we have a little more than 4 ounces of silver. And what it is basically, when we ship off the material to the mill, right, they don't say to us, well, we're going to charge you this much to mill the gold and this much to mill the silver. It's an all, encompassing cost. So all our numbers are based on the cost of our production of gold. So the silver essentially is for free, and it's getting very exciting. The numbers that we have currently, and we think we're going to be able to drill out and show the market here shortly.
Yeah. And beyond Dome Mountain, which is sizable in itself, what other properties does the company own, and what's the strategy with those?
We have a couple of the properties. When I did the deal, not only did was I able to negotiate, no cash and all stock and very aggressive, but also they had another property right next to this one called the Big Onion, which is a big copper porphyry, and copper is becoming very, very favorable currently. So I got that as part of the package, also for nothing, for free, as part of the deal, and that's becoming, copper is over $3 now, and with all this electric car movement and electric cars take 4 times more copper than regular normal cars, right? So with that and infrastructure being built all around the world, governments are going to want to put people back to work. So they've got one of the best ways to do that is to build infrastructure, buildings and bridges and roads, and all that needs copper. So that property is going to be very, very interesting, and I'm going to be able to monetize that. I firmly believe in the very near future. And then we also have another property in central British Columbia called Pelair. It's a 10 high-grade vein system as well, a beautiful property that we're going to start working on here next year. But what I love about that one is, there's got 25,000 tons of material sitting there by one of the veins that we can just truck out and send to the mill. We don't need any permits or anything. We just send our trucks there, pick it up, send it to the mill. We can get that monetized, and that's worth a nice few $1,000,000 to us at these gold prices. So yeah, we got lots going on with Blue Lagoon beyond just the Dome Mountain.
Yeah, much more than just gold, but even just the gold by itself is, you got quite a deal with that. And finally, are there any big-time shareholders in Blue Lagoon that we should know about?
Well, there are, but I'd rather not say. But I'll tell you one thing that is very interesting about our company is it's completely under the radar. We haven't talked to any institutions yet. We haven't spoken really to the big players. You got to remember, we just acquired this project about 5 months ago. The company I just launched last July. So it's a very new company. This is one of the first interviews that I'm doing. I've only been doing them for a few days. So our company is very under the radar. Just stay tuned and watch how we get on the radar of these some of the big players, and you'll see a whole bunch of them jumping in. I'm very confident.
Yeah, and people will have to stay tuned to looking at the markets. We're getting exclusives here, basically, or at least some under the radar knowledge here. Very cool, and I'm excited about this. I've been speaking with Mr. Ron Avig, CEO and Director, BlueLagoonResources.com. People need to check out the report as well, portfoliowealthglobal.com/blue. We'll send that right out to you. Click on the link in the description below this video. It's been really exciting I get to speak with the mavens of the gold and resources sector throughout the world, and I can't wait for the next leg up in gold and in Blue Lagoon. So thank you, Mr. Vig, for coming on and looking at the markets. We'll have to have you back soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, David. It's been a pleasure.